Good evening and welcome to Season 1, Episode 5 of our podcast, Sales Unplugged. Today we have a special guest with us, Mr. Omkar Karnani. So, to begin with, can you please introduce yourself and talk about what you do?
Sure. Hi everyone. I am Omkar. Currently, I am leading sales in GTM at a startup called BabbleBots.ai. I've been someone who's always fascinated about startups, entrepreneurship, and I've pretty much just put the last couple of years exploring that side of things professionally. But yeah.
So, let us first begin with your life in Xavier's.
Sure.
So, can you tell us about your fondest memory in Xavier's?
I think I do remember that I was the last to walk on my first day. So my first lecture, I was the last person to come into the class. So I was made to sit in front of the door, which is very awkward because I like talking to a lot of people, and I was hoping that I could talk to people on the first day of college. I do also remember it was Pritesh sir's lecture. But I think my fondest memory of Xavier's is going back to be with the people that I've met here. We probably spend more time outside of college than in college. But I think I met very, very interesting people, very smart people, maybe smarter than me, doing a lot better things in life than me. And I think those are probably the fondest memories I've had, meeting people here. Yeah.
So, if you had to change something, like any incident which happened here, what would that be?
Wow. I got thrown out of class for eating chewing gum. I don't know if that was allowed or not, but I would probably just want to change that. It was probably first year, second semester. If I'm not wrong, it was Kishu sir that was doing it. But yeah, I think apart from that, it was all good. I don't want to change anything. I would have liked to be more offline. I was the COVID batch, so I would like to do this more in person and probably had that.
So, like from first year, it was.
No. So I got first 2 semesters offline, third semester onwards, third and fourth and fifth offline. Sorry, online.
So, how was the transition like?
So I really enjoyed coming to college. I think, and a lot of my friends were not from Mumbai; they were from other cities. So they enjoyed coming to Bombay, but they didn't enjoy coming to college. I was the only person who enjoyed coming to college. I was probably very few. I think 5-6 of us used to come to college, even when lectures were going. So in the transition phase, we had this offline online thing that was going on just to make people comfortable about the change, right? So very few people used to come to college. I was probably one of those few people who used to enjoy coming to campus. But yeah, I wish I had more classmates in class than online. But I think all said and done, it was a good experience. Still having met those people.
Okay. So, I think by second year, people just get into the thing like, okay, I need to get into internships.
Yeah.
And just like probably paving the path. Like, first year is like little chill.
Correct.
Second year, you're like, okay, maybe I should go a little career focused.
Uh-huh.
So, what are the kind of internships or what exactly led you to your current job?
So, just a backstory, I come from a family business background. So, I have my folks who run their own stuff. I've always been fascinated about how business gets done, and that's why I think I chose the course also in the first place. If I'm being honest, I've always done sales. Now that I'm thinking back, I've pretty much done sales all my life, I used to hate it before, but I've matured now to realize what is it really all about. My first couple of internships were around cold calling, cold emailing, all that thing that they make you do, and I think. During my time, there was a lot of edtech that was happening. So a bunch of edtech people were hiring for these type of roles, campus ambassador type of blah, 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 and all of that. But my first internship was with this ad agency, if I'm not wrong. They used to do these translation services, the language translation services, and I used to sell that. So I started with that. I did a little bit of, I worked in a startup after that, which was around telemedicine. So I worked with them, again, helped them grow international. So I was managing more of their international growth. And I think I just did a couple of them. I was not so serious about doing internships in college, by the way. I was more interested in meeting people and maybe enjoying that than just doing a lot of stuff online. Yeah.
So, how did you decide you actually like sales or get into it completely?
So I realized that none of us are taught sales properly. Like all our experiences are bad with sales when you start doing that, right? you always hate the first internship that you do. We are given wrong expectations about what is happening in the marketing department at Malhar or sponsorship departments. It's all of that is sales. It's just said differently. So when we actually, and the worst thing is nobody's taught that to us. Us as business school grads also we're not taught how to sell. But once you start really understanding what is it and how is it done, you start enjoying it a lot. Like you figure out, okay, this is what I say, this is something that I don't say, this is how I listen, this is how I present myself, and then you start connecting dots, and that is how it starts becoming better and better for you. So, and it's very rewarding. You feel a lot of satisfaction after closing something. So I would say that if you persist long enough to close a couple of deals, I'm sure you'll enjoy doing the rest of it. Yeah.
Because I think most of us, like even when we join for internships, if it's a sales role,
Yeah.
most of the time it's cold calling.
Correct.
So how do you basically like have the thing that okay, maybe I will be given like better tasks, or okay, I will also probably be trained to be a more capable person.
Most capable people are people who can sell with cold calling, by the way. Like if you're able to close a deal on a cold call, you are probably one of the very top 1-5% people of sales that are out there. It's very difficult. The problem, especially that I notice in India, is we are not even taught how to do cold calls, right? Like there is a certain method that you can follow. There are certain tactics that you can follow. There are certain tips that you can get. And all of this is very freely available on YouTube, by the way. It's not that difficult to find these tips. But we're never given the direction that, hey, this is what you do. What I see happening is you sign up for an internship, they give you a list of people that you need to dial, and you just dial. You don't even know what the product is. There are very few training about the product or the service that's given to you as a salesperson, and very little direction that's given. But I think once you start getting comfortable with that aspect, the others are the easiest one. It's like studying the most difficult subject on day zero, so that the rest of the semester is easier to actually comprehend. So it's just about that. So if you just put your head down, figure out that it is tactically possible to do cold calling, you do enjoy the rest of it. Yeah.
So now let's come to your career in Founders Office, Babylon's AI. So can you explain the concept of Founders Office and then talk about what exactly BabbleBots AI does?
Sure. So Founders Office is a fairly cross-functional role, I think. And by the way, this concept is just starting to build up in the startup space around having generalists in team. What's really happening in today's time is we have a lot of tools that are democratizing skills, right? But you need people to manage those skills. It's become very easy to create content. It's become very easy to create tech. It's very easy to create products, all of that. But you need generalists to actually manage that. So, as a founder's office, what is the expectation in the market is that you are capable of doing a bunch of tasks, but you're specializing in something core, and you bring that value to the table. So, when I joined BabbleBots, my first couple of months I was pretty much just diving into the product that we built. So I was learning how the product works, figuring out, working a lot more with the tech team than with the business team, just understanding, what are the workflows we've made, understanding how does this help my customers, why is this feature here, why is this color red, so on and so forth. I was just getting a lot into those details. And then once I started getting comfortable, I started doing a lot more of the customer side of things. Now I specialize in selling the product. I do a lot of cross-functional work as well. But that's just how startups are today. They expect people to be high agency. So somebody who can actually just take a lot of responsibility, take ownership of the work that can be done, be open to being ambiguous with the type of role people in the founder's office is just to be very high agency people. Like you just be very high agency, bring a lot of energy to the team, bring a lot of perspective to the team, be a little outlier, try and think a little differently, say no to doing an old process, try something new out, bring a different method in solving the exact same problem. And of course, specialize in something, just own a category, own a particular vertical, and just do that. And benefit of working with startups is that you really get to do a lot of things. I don't think I've ever spent in the last 2 years a single time where I was just doing a single task for a month. I'm at least doing two to three tasks at any point of time. And I think that motivates me a lot. So The company that I work in is called Babelbots. We are a product company based out of Mumbai. We are incubated at IIT Bombay. All the founding team is IIT Bombay folks. What we've built is an AI recruiter that is capable of doing all the top of the funnel activities for you. So think of it like the unified platform for hiring, where you have an AI's capability to source candidates for you, screen them, interview them, and give you a curated pool of people that are actually going to make sense for you. Of course, we started with the recruitment vertical as a piece, but the technology which is around voice AI, it's fairly, it can be verticalized in other domains as well. So we could maybe tinker around other functions within HR, or maybe tinker around other use cases where voice becomes the primary use case to build on. So, yeah.
So before we get into tighter about AI, like we will ask something about the founder's office thing.
Yes.
So you just said that a lot of people there are generalists, right?
Yeah.
So there is one thing about the generational factor as well, because we are Gen Z. So when we are allotted these kind of roles, we would actually love doing a lot of things.
Correct.
But what about those people who are actually traditionalists or the older generation?
Okay.
So they want probably a particular role and then be promoted, probably have fixed titles.
Okay.
So how do you actually have that blending of both the generations together?
I don't think it's a very generational thing. Like, I think it's more about, so for example, a general manager is what a founder's office person is. There are general managers in banks. Their job is to do a bunch of things, right? For example, they might be selling, they might be speaking to customers, they might be working with the tech team to implement something new, they might be probably engaging with, let's say, branch related stuff. So think of it like a general manager at any other company could be equivalent of a founder's office here. The only difference is the founder's office person is expected to do things maybe a lot faster than the general manager person. So if you really look at that, but apart from that, I think what you do realize after a couple of years, see, founder's office is apt for someone who doesn't know what they want to specialize in. So if you do get a flavor of doing that for a year, that you do everything which is there in an organization to do, you do realize that, okay, I'm good at something. You do realize that, and the founders also realize that you're actually bringing more energy to a single department in the team. Then they start giving that leverage to you that, okay, why don't you start owning this vertical and building on top of that. So like you said, right, Gen Zs, we are very finicky about just doing one single task. Nobody wants to do a single task. But once you start working, you do get mature and you realize that, okay, I'm really good at one thing and let me just double down on that, because that is probably the most profitable skill set that I have, which will give me a very non-linear growth in my career.
That will work AI.
Yeah.
So mainly you guys specialize in screening of applicants, right?
Yes.
Right now it's into recruiting.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think because it's AI, there will be certain keywords which are getting screened down on, right? That's how you are figuring out who is the right applicant for this job.
No, that's the old way in which AI used to work. Today, AI systems have a lot more context than before. Like, for example, if let's say my system reads a CV that is for, let's say, strategy or consulting, right? And what they're looking for is someone who's worked in consumer brands. Let's say it's a role for consumer brand strategy type of role. My system's not going to read that, okay, have you worked with a consumer brand before or not? Like, you've not specifically pointed out that, hey, I worked in a consumer brand, I did XYZ things, I have XYZ skills. It's going to look for context. It's going to look for, okay, what company was this? Does this company really work in the consumer space or not? Second, it is going to figure out the job description or the job explanation that you've mentioned in the CV. How apt is it for my role? Of course, there are some skills that you mentioned which do get pegged, but it will read the context of, have you really done this skill on in your job or not? This happens a lot with tech roles actually. With tech roles, usually you find people writing maybe 10, 12 skills in their CV, right? Probably worked on 2 or 3 of them. So traditional methods or traditional tools will still capture that as a yes, saying that, okay, this person has specialized in Java. So, I mean, he's mentioned Java in his CV, but when you actually read the description of what he's done in the past, he probably has used Java only at 5% of his job, nothing more than that. So that person will get rejected by my system. And CV screening is just one part of it. We do interviews, the AI speaks to the candidates, just you and I, the way you and I are talking right now. In a similar way, you do interview with the bot. It could happen over a phone call, it could happen with a video call, and we determine if you're actually a fit for the role or not. So we ask you questions about the skills, questions around culture fit, questions around what is really motivating you to be a part of this organization, all of that. And then we determine a score, which is again vetted by humans in some sense.
Okay, I think we stopped about where you talked about the different aspects of how you actually screen the thing.
Correct.
But isn't there a possibility that some really good and potential people actually lose out? Probably because I wouldn't say that the screening was faulty. Probably they don't know how to present their resume in a perfect manner.
Correct.
Some sort of, like, if something like that happens, how do you actually find the right talent, I would say?
So AI is not calling the shots on who is good or bad. AI is just ranking them. As a human recruiter, you can use all your skill set to decide that, hey, maybe you missed this candidate out on, but I like that. I like that person, so I'm just going to give up a call to them. Right. So, of course, you need to put out some. See, the thing is, what we're democratizing is that I'll tell you an ideal scenario what happens, right? You open a job, you have about 200, 300 people applying for your job. In most cases, recruiters are not even looking at more than 25 CVs on that batch. They come in on a Monday morning, they look at the top 25, 30 CVs, and if they like someone from there, then their role is shut. Even if they like someone from the 25 pool, they're not going to look at the other balance 200 odd people, right? But with AI, all those 200 people are getting an equal chance to actually be screened properly in the first place. So let's say you are the 140th candidate and your profile never got seen by the recruiter with no fault of yours. You didn't even know that, hey, I'm the 140th person. I don't even know if the recruiter is going to see my profile or not. Maybe you were good, maybe you were not. But you never got a fair chance to actually showcase your skills, talk about if you're good enough or not. But with AI, all of that opportunity gets created first. Then if your CV is good, you do get to do the interview. But to cut to the chase, if a candidate for some, let's say, a technical reason, the AI is not shortlisted them further, there's an option for the human to always review that and trigger it immediately to give a fair chance to everybody to do the interview and maybe get ahead in the process.
But what about a senior position? Because, for example, a director, what happens is basically most of these people have a reputation in the industry.
Correct.
And they are moreover called over by, like, there would be some mutuals, or they
Correct.
are basically hired based upon probably a dinner meeting or something,
Yes.
trying to take them from some other company.
Yes.
But how do you think AI can actually help in this kind of hiring?
It doesn't. It will never. So if I'm being honest, these are all headhunting requirements, right? I'm looking for a very specific skill set from a very specific industry veteran, which I want to poach. Like, if I want to poach the director at a big organization or someone else, I'd be human enough to reach out to that person and talk to them, right? That person is not going to appreciate if a system's reaching out. The system is helping in instances where you know that you're expecting a lot of volume. There's a lot of talent available, but not enough time to actually figure out who's the right candidate for that. So in that scenario, yes, we do understand that for maybe very senior profiles, or in fact not even senior profiles, if it's a very niche talent requirement, like this happens a lot with so we were working with this D2C brand that is in the soap and tissue industry. Like they make these kitchenware products, right? They were looking for someone with a modern trade background and a very, very specific requirement. It was maybe 3-4 years of experience, not that not very experienced professional, but only from that industry. Now, there are very few people who have worked, let's say, in the kitchenware space in modern trade. So to finding that, AI is probably not going to help them. We had to push back and tell them, sorry, this position won't work with AI. You need to have recruiters who are specializing in this space do that. And that is where you do realize where humans are also adding value, right? If you can't have machines taking over humans on all of the things, we're taking over what is monotonous, what is boring, what's mundane, or what's maybe is going to add a lot of delta to their lives and give them a lot more time. But high value stuff, I think it's always going to be reserved for the humans to actually figure that piece of the puzzle out.
Also, there is like a recent trend where a lot of students are getting into internships. They want to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think around 3-4 years back, it wouldn't have been something which every student is looking for. Right now, it's like students are bombarding people with messages on LinkedIn, or if they get their number or emails. So, do you think AI can actually help to figure out these kind of interns as well? Because it's just cold messaging, I would say.
Correct.
Probably just. So how do you think AI? Because probably there are no keywords or anything else. It's just people asking for an internship for a particular role.
Correct. So, I mean, internships which are structured in nature. So, let's say if a company is organizing or looking for an internship, let's say on Internshala, right? We can help them use AI over there. But at least in the current capacity, if you are reaching out to a founder saying that, hey, I like your profile and I want to intern with your company, at least at this point of time, our system is not capable of helping you get through it or helping the founder figure out if you're the right fit or not. But yes, I think the moment we have your CV and we have some details about you, post that we can determine if you're a good fit for the role or not.
So now for the students, what do you think, like what are the things they should actually highlight? Because there are like a lot of AIs going through resumes, through their LinkedIn profiles.
Correct.
What are the certain things they should highlight? What are the things which should actually stand out in a person's profile?
I think don't add anything BS on your CV. If you've not done that, there's no point in putting it. I see a lot of people putting things like, hey, I've done an Excel course. I've done, let's say, on Udemy, I did financial management and things like that. It's not going to add a lot of value to your CV. Just be honest with what skill you've learned. Like I said, right, systems are getting more and more intelligent to understand context now. The better context you can explain of where you use that skill set or where you learned that piece of information from, the better it is going to be when it comes to systems. And even if you remove systems out of the picture, right, even if humans were to actually evaluate your profiles for internships, for maybe opportunities and all that, they are going to look for context. And people are also getting smarter. They do realize that, okay, is this person actually presenting the facts or are they just overselling themselves, which happens a lot. As students, we do tend to oversell ourselves, maybe just show that we did a lot of stuff, but in reality it's not a lot that we've done. So my take is that just be honest, like be honest about what you've done, be honest about your intention. Even on the resume, whatever you've learned with your heart and soul, just put that. Don't unnecessarily beautify it and make it sound like, okay, I know a lot. I think if I were to look at any CV, if someone's just written that, hey, I'm open to learning this skill also, I'll be fine with that. Like, I'll be very happy to take that person because he or she has that maturity to realize that, okay, I'm young, I'm curious, I have learned XYZ things, which I know very well. But yes, I do realize that there are some more things that I need to learn. I'm happy to put in the effort to do that, which a lot of people do. And this usually happens when you're reaching out to people for internships, which I also did. So, which is where I got the feedback from that, hey, you know what, you're doing it right, but you're doing it hella wrong as well. Like, you're trying to reach out to a lot of people, which is great, but you're missing the context. He's not really looking for that. So using your brains to figure out context is going to be very helpful for students.
Okay. So considering now there are a lot of AIs into recruiting, how do you think you guys are standing out?
Correct. What we believe is we have a very, so by the way, we do realize that a lot of competition keeps snooping around our products. We do have a lot of signups that come in from competition. They use different aliases. We started about 4 years back, even before AI in recruitment was an actual concept. We've been using voice even before it was a thing. Even before, in fact, ChatGPT had come out with their first 3.0 model in the market. We had already orchestrated these human-like conversations with AI. So we've fairly been a little ahead of the curve when it comes to product innovation. Apart from that, in terms of distribution, what we've been doing is we are actually accelerating a lot of our distribution channels by actually using a bunch of AI tools to help us distribute it. So we are leveraging our own networks, the founders, the team, everybody is very much involved in the distribution as well, which is of course what the game is about now. You know the problem, you have a product, you just need to distribute it. So that is the next piece of puzzle that we have to figure out, and that's how we're going to do it. But yes, to be very honest, in today's day, differentiations are going to be very, very sleek. You will not have very tech differentiated products. But yes, very intelligent workflows. Our systems are capable of managing volumes at scale. We've already done that. We've worked with about 300 plus customers. So it just builds out a lot of credibility, builds out a lot of trust that, okay, we've built systems that have already been tried and tested. We're not very young, just picking on a use case and just trying to figure that out. So I think those are some of the competitive edges that we try to capitalize on. But yeah, we could do it.
Okay, now let's come to your. You are interested in entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
And you also do take classes for the students here. So, are you looking into an entrepreneurial journey?
Absolutely. I think 100%.
Okay, so is it like somewhere you're gonna start your own company? Do you have like any ideas or anything as such?
So I think one of the misconceptions that I have personally also overcome is that I think I love being entrepreneurial. I don't know if I'm going to be an entrepreneur or not. So I don't know if I'll be the guy with the next Zomato, next Swiggy type of idea or not. But I'll always be entrepreneurial. I'll enjoy being a part of the 0 to 1 journey of startups, helping them scale. And that is what entrepreneurship is also about. Like I feel uh, if even if I don't have the idea, but I join someone smarter than me, which I can help them scale, I'm an equal entrepreneur for that team. I'm adding enough value for them and enough value and impact in the society to actually help that business grow. Just because I start an idea and have an idea that makes me a founder doesn't really mean that I will be a good entrepreneur. I would much rather want to maximize my strengths and see where I can actually add value. And if that idea scales, of course, I'll end up making wealth because of that. So I'm not married to the idea that I have to be someone with the idea. I need to be someone who has to be a founder, quote unquote founder. I could be a part of the founding team and be able to add a lot more value to the systems, the team. I can learn a lot from that journey. But yeah, I do want to be a part of the early stage though. I do enjoy being the 0 to 1 guy for a company.
Okay, that's an interesting take that probably having entrepreneurship or like as a personality or as a part of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that goes long. That goes a long way actually, because you're not you're not married to the idea. Like maybe today I am married to a food delivery app, or that is my concept of entrepreneurship. But if I'm entrepreneurial, I could take that trait to a different idea, 10 other ideas, keep trying that out again and again. And of course, I think entrepreneurs do need a lot of risk appetite. I am working very hard on myself to figure out what is my risk appetite. So the day I do figure out what my risk appetite is, I will start taking steps in having something of my own. And of course, that's the dream. But even if that doesn't happen, I'll not be dissatisfied with the outcome that I get. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's come to the placement scenario.
Yes.
So, what would be like your advice to the people who are in their third years or people who just want to get into a particular job? Probably people after third year also sitting for preparations for particular exams, and then they suddenly decide, okay, maybe we probably should work or we should not work, because a lot of universities right now also look for work experience. But at the same time, there is also this thing that once you start working,
Yeah.
you don't want to go back to studying.
Okay. Yeah.
So, what is your thought on that?
I'm the first guy to give advice about placements, by the way, because I skipped placements at Xavier's. I just uh, I just started filling form of one company, and I just got bored filling that. And I felt like if I'm getting bored just filling their form, I'm probably going to be very bored working there. So my advice to people probably would be that, hey, be very clear about why do you want to work in that company. It may be the role, it may be the people there, it may be the culture, it may be the city, but have a justification around that. Just doing it for the sake of doing it, just because your other batchmates are applying, just because your best friends are going there, should not be the reason why you sit through placements. If you're really passionate about a certain problem statement, or you are really passionate about doing something in life, start doing that early on. Don't wait for the placements to come in. Placements should not be the only way in which you decide which trajectory your career is going in. There are ways in which you can network. There are ways in which you can reach out to alumni. There are ways in which you can put yourself out there, build your personal brand, attract opportunities to yourselves, and things like that. Right? But most important piece is understanding why do you want to work in that company, and then of course, I am not a guru to sort of tell कि case study के लिए कैसे plan करते हैं. And I have never solved a case study in my life, so I will probably not say anything about that. But having that clarity about why do you want to work in that company goes a long way. And this is also even more important is because what I've noticed is a bunch of people leave within a year after they've joined a company, right? So you've not learned anything. You're as good as a fresher if you go to the other company without having gained anything. So unless and until that why is clear, you will not really enjoy working there. You'll probably be a cog in the wheel. You'll do the 9 to 5 thing. You'll be happy with probably doing a hybrid 2 days work from office, 3 days from the home, chill life. But after a point, it starts getting to you. Like after a year, it starts getting to you, and then you might as well start again. It's as good as that. So if you just put a little time and effort in figuring out why you're doing what you're doing, I think it will go a longer route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one last question.
Yes.
Tell us about like your key philosophy in life, something you like always live by, or something which has always struck you.
Yeah, I think one of the I'm just thinking something off my mind, but one of the very recent things someone had told me was that we overestimate our short-term goals, our short-term outcomes. We overestimate that we have X amount of achievements, and we underestimate our long-term outcomes that we can achieve. So we are very optimistic about the short term, but very pessimistic about the long term usually. I feel that it's a very big career, it's a very big life that we have. It's a long journey, so just be patient about it. There's no need to rush. There's no need to compare. There's no need to compete essentially with anybody. You are on your own path. Just enjoy whatever you like without having to get a yes from everybody on the way. Sometimes people are not going to talk to you. Sometimes they're going to be envy of you. Sometimes they're going to be appreciative of you. You just put your head down, keep doing what you like, and just walk out of that. Yeah.
That is very interesting. Now, let's have a rapid fire round.
Okay.
I'll probably ask you like 2-3 questions.
Yes.
Yeah. So, first question is probably I saw you reading outside.
Yes.
So, what is the name of the book and why did you pick that book?
Oh, this book, I just picked it up off the shelf. It was not important. Yeah.
Is there any other book you're reading currently?
Yes, I'm getting very fascinated by anthropology, about how humans are the way we are. I just finished Sapiens, so I would recommend that to everybody who likes reading. It's a very interesting book to have gone through. Yeah.
Okay. Then, what is your favorite food in the college canteen?
Not college canteen.
No.
I'd probably go to the Anna outside or take poha at Patil's. That's my favorite spot. Yeah.
Okay. Then probably, yeah. If you were to describe your personality in the form of a hair color, like
Okay.
probably like you have that hair color and people are like, okay, yeah, that is just you.
That is just me. Okay.
Yeah. What would be that?
Wow. I'd be an orange. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is it for the questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We have
Yeah.
gained a lot of insights from your interview
Yeah.
as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.